when you're looking at ERP, it's
Yeah,
not just about taking in orders, fulfilling orders, managing returns, and bringing them
yeah,
back in. It's about the inventory management in the warehouse and your bins. It's about the omni-channel experience. And I'm not talking about Amazon and eBay and Shopify. I'm talking about distribution networks.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our #1 priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining from. Welcome to another episode of the joint series that we have. If you joined for the first time, we are doing this in 3 different flavors. And one of the flavor is the joint episodes. Then we have 2 more, one of which is product reviews. Product review is our voice, reviewing these different products that we have in the market. From the enterprise software community. And then the third series that we have is we talk about different methods and processes, methodology. The best way to know about these different episodes that we are bringing to you is through our events and webinar page on elevate.iq.com, or you can subscribe to our newsletter, which is also available on elevate.iq.com. You can subscribe from there. On that note, we are going to introduce our guest in a second. We have a very exciting product and a product that is slightly international in its scope. So we always appreciate guests from the international community. But before that, I'm your host, Sam Gupta, principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent vendor-agnostic technology advisory firm. We help our customers with any sort of technology advisory, and system selection, as well as change management. On that note, Morgan, welcome.
Thank you, Sam. Great to be here.
Yeah, so pleased to have you here. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself, maybe about the company? I don't know if you want to bring your deck, you can do that, or just a small intro.
Yeah, let me give you a little bit of a bit about our story. So you might tell from my accent, I'm based in Ireland. So that's the international nod. Sam, thank you very much. Based in Dublin here. I'm the CEO of Enterprise. We've been in the ERP space now for many years, not just with Enterprise, but we have also some history in the SAP Business One ecosystem as well, where we grew to become the largest SAP Business One partner in the UK and Ireland over many years. So I know I look very young, Sam, but I have been doing this since about 2000. So I have many of the battle scars of ERP behind me. So we've been building this product for quite a number of years, and a lot of it comes, I guess, inspired by what we've seen in the market, not just in the world of ERP, but also in general with the advent of cloud and the deployment of these solutions in the cloud. We kind of asked ourselves a question about how ERP could be positioned in the cloud to suit SMEs and to maybe take away an awful lot of the burdens and the challenges that come with owning and managing an ERP system. So, I guess there were a number of things that popped up along the way, Sam. We sort of looked at the way things were and the way things are now. We looked at, when we used to own our VHS tapes and our CDs and our albums, and now we consume them online. And we sort of said, well, rather than owning our ERP, could we not consume it? Could we not just have it there and access it when we needed to? So that was our sort of beginning. That was our sort of initial sort of ideation, if you like. And that's where Enterprise was born out of. And now we're available in 32 countries around the world. And we have thousands of companies that use it. Typically, and I think it's important to position it, it's in the smaller business section. So companies that might have outgrown QuickBooks or Xero or the simpler Sage applications that need to move into the ERP space.
Yeah.
or maybe they have a legacy ERP system that they need to change because that system's end of life. Those sort of companies between the sort of $2 million and $50 million range, it seems like a big gap, but there are lots of companies in there with different levels of complexity.
Yeah.
And we wanted to build for them a nice comprehensive ERP system that would sort of meet their day-to-day requirements and do that. So it's a little bit of background on us. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Yeah, no, this is great. And I'm personally learning about you guys as well, because obviously, I mean, we have been tracking you guys for some time, but we don't know as much. So this is a great education personally for us. So I'm going to have one question, and then you can probably start with the demo, and then I'm going to talk to my audience as well. So when I look at your branding, right, and I don't know if this is more of the Europe thing or it could be. So your branding, your brand comes across as very Odoo-like. I don't know if you are familiar with Odoo. They are from Belgium as well. Obviously, very well recognized company now. They are very well funded. They claim to be open source. I don't know if you guys have similar philosophy or not. And it could be pink purple branding from the Europe. That could be a possibility. I don't know. I mean, IFS is purple as well, right? They are from Europe too. So I don't know. I mean, it could be a possibility. So tell me, I mean, is there any overlap with Odoo, the way you approach the market? Any connection there? No? Zero?
No. A very different philosophy, I think, to be honest. Odoo is an open source. It's an open book. You probably have to be quite technical to deploy it. It still is a sort of a building block based ERP, where we would consider ourselves a little bit more out of the box. This is what you get. This is what it does. And we've tried to make it as all encompassing as possible so that it covers everything you want without you actually having to start to customize it and change it and adapt it to your business. We also have a little thing I was going to mention a little later, but just in terms of positioning, we believe that the core is enough, and it's enough to deliver what you need without requiring complex add-ons that complicate your landscape. So we have a lovely monthly release cycle, for example, where we deliver 15 new features every single month based on customer requests and suggestions, as well as strategic product developments that allow us then to extend the core without bloating, but extend the core and deliver those seamlessly to every customer without any disruption, without any services, without any of that. So there's a slightly different philosophy behind what we're doing. I'm not sure about the color. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who was first, because we've been purple for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
But, or as the ladies in the office like to say, it's pink, but I say it's purple. But it depends on what the coloring is. It is. I guess I just didn't want to be another blue, right? And that's all. No, with respect,
that's a great way to look at it.
But when it comes to ERPs, I think there's a lot of blue out there. So you're kind of stuck with something a little bit different. We could have gone with the green of Ireland, I guess, but you hire an agency, they come up with a color, and you're kind of stuck with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, in some countries like Swedish products, I mean, they are not going to go with anything other than yellow, I guess. I mean, they always are very passionate about that. That's right. Okay, amazing. So I think we are going to start with the demo. So whenever you have a chance, you can bring your screen if you want to bring that. In the meanwhile, audience, if you have any sort of questions, any sort of anecdotes, experiences, if you have experience with enterprise, we would love to hear from your side as well. And we are going to cover those comments and questions as we move along. So Morgan, over to you. The product is beautiful, man. I mean, great job there. It looks very, 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 very fancy. So I'm very excited to review what you have.
So the first thing I love to tell everybody is that this is true cloud. And I always tell a little story of my own office 6-7 years ago, when we had a comms room full of servers and it was cool to 15 degrees. And then it became the place we stored the box files, and none of those things exist anymore. And that's a real testament to innovation. So cloud to me is really important, because all you need from a small business perspective is a laptop to access it from anywhere, right? We don't need servers. We don't need anything. And now that remote work has become really important, this makes it really accessible. And then, of course, the application comes with 6 mobile apps, depending on the kind of role that you actually have within the business. So if you're a salesperson, there's an app. If you're managing your expenses, there's an app. If you're a service engineer, there's an app as well. So cloud for me is a really important is a really important characteristic of this and true cloud. And that also enables us to do what I mentioned earlier, to deploy updates literally every month with all of these new enhancements at no additional cost to the customer. So it becomes a lovely community of ERP users, everybody helping each other with new features and suggestions to make their product better and to also help them run their businesses better. Who better than your customers to tell you what way to do that? So let me give you I'm going to give you a little look around if that's a position where
please.
we all are. So this is where you land. Again, it's been designed to sort of recognize that not everybody's in here all the time. So giving you a little idea of what's happening within your business. So over here we have what we kind of call like our what would have been the Twitter feed, Sam, right? So it's showing me all the transactions I'm interested in that have happened since I logged in last, so I can stay up to date on what's happening. So I can go in and filter this, for example, for all of the different transactions, and it's just telling me what I might know since I was here last. Notifications are tracking things like, do I have expenses to approve? Do I have purchase orders to approve? Do I have any activities that are scheduled for me today, for example, that I need to action? I have my little favorites down the bottom here that are going to give me my customers and my suppliers. Over here, I've got things like shortcuts, just I want to go straight in and do an order for a customer because I'm in front of them and I need to do that. Or here's my activities for today where I can keep my diary up to date. So that gives me a lovely little quick view of things. And then we have our multi-company selector. And of course, we're localized for 14 or 15 different countries at this stage, and we're rolling those out more and more. And that's in itself becoming quite an interesting position, Sam, with especially in the European Union, where we're having PEPL-based digital invoicing being rolled out across for the next couple of years. And we've built all of that into the application. So it's all PEPL ready. It's PEPL. It's got its own PEPL gateway to connect it through to the PEPL networks. So that's my multi-company selector. And of course, being multi-company, there is intercompany transactions and consolidations all built into the platform. So if I do a PO in one company, it'll generate a sales order in another, and all of those lovely things along the way. Up the top here are little things like my settings, links to my apps, my notifications, and my profile view. Just the sort of housekeeping elements of a platform that you always need to have. On the left side here, I'm just going to expand out this. I'm on my laptop, Sam, so I auto shrink the menu just to give myself some more real estate. But basically, these are all the different modules that are contained as standard within the platform. And I guess the concept here is that when businesses outgrow what are really powerful and brilliant platforms like QuickBooks and Xero, but they do tend to tap out after a while when they the stock becomes bigger, or they need batch traceability or serial number tracking. Those sort of complexities creep into those businesses, especially in manufacturing. This is the suite of modules that come to try and meet the needs of all of those SMEs, because the SMEs aren't simple anymore, Sam, right? They do a lot of things. So incorporated in the application, as you can see here, is accounting, because inventory integrated into the accounting system is really important. And a lot of small businesses don't understand the importance of that. Real-time accounting, up-to-date stock balances in your balance sheet, all of those different movements that happen as you process transactions need to update your accounting in real time. So that's there. It's quite powerful. Multi-dimensional accounting, project-based accounting, budgeting, and as I say, consolidation across multiple localizations are things that we do on a regular basis. We wanted to include CRM, and I call it CRM with a little asterisk, Sam, because CRM for me, this is really about deal management. It's not a marketing CRM tool, but it's really about somebody called me and I have an opportunity and I want to follow through on that opportunity. And that's what we're tracking in here. I'll give you a little look at it in a little second. Our companies are our customers and our suppliers, and some of the key information around those. We're into sales and purchasing. So we're managing everything from opportunity to cash and procure to pay with MRP, order approvals, and all of those lovely things in the background. Our services module enable us to look after product or services after they've been sold. So full field service management, help desk management, and
Yeah.
indeed project management all built into the application here as well.
Yeah.
Expenses, because we all have them, so they have to be looked after somehow, Sam, right? So
Yeah.
we make sure we can take care of that. Our inventory section here, our items, we don't call it stock or inventory because there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Within here, of course, we have our stock items. We buy them, we sell them, we stock them, we warehouse them. We have our bin locations.
Yeah.
We can transfer the stock, etc. But there are also other items like bill of materials for manufacturing. There are template bill of materials if you sell kits, for example, that need to be modified.
Yeah.
We even have things in here like 2-dimensional stock items or 3-dimensional stock items for people who sell multi-dimensional products. We also have boxed tiled items, which is an interesting one. We do a lot in the tiling industry. So if you somebody walks into your shop and says, I want 20 square meters of tiling, we know how many boxes you need, for example. And then that links beautifully with the batch traceability, because then if they come back looking for another tile, you can match the batches to make sure that they're getting something consistent with what they bought before.
Yeah.
Then we have our production modules. So we're producing product, depleting raw material, managing, for example, in food, we're managing the batch traceability elements of our manufacturing, and we're scheduling and planning those against different resources.
Yeah.
We have full warehouse management in here, Sam. So we're able to put products away, transfer them, do stock takes, all on a handheld, all from your Chromium-based browser that might be on a barcode reader, for example.
Yeah.
We have banking. So we're integrated with 10,000 banks around the world.
Yeah.
For updates 6 times daily to tell us exactly how we're doing and whether we receive money or we're paying out money. We've a really slick payment wizard that allows us to manage outgoing payments to suppliers en masse.
Yeah.
And then we get into things like point of sale. So there's a point of sale solution for trade counters and maybe those type of business scenarios. Self-service portal for your customers to log on and get copy statements, invoices, log service calls. And then we have integration into a number of different platforms such as Shopify, Avalara, WooCommerce. There's a full EDI engine natively built into the application as well. So that gives you a bit of a sense of the scale of what we have within the platform. Because we believe that small businesses deserve all the tools they need in one application rather than lots of different tools that they have to manage them themselves.
Okay, so very, very good overview. Thank you so much for being so comprehensive. This is very helpful. We have some guests, in the room. Eric, I don't know if you have worked with him. He's also an ERP consultant. Thank you so much for joining, Eric. And Eric is saying, you look way too young. I think that's what he means in the comment. Good to see you. Yeah, you do look very young.
I just put that soft filter on. Don't worry, it's not that good.
And then we have one question here, I believe from Dan, I guess. He's saying, do you have a configure price code CPQ module to make to order? And then he has one more comment here. What kind of market penetration have you had in the US, and you handle US localizations for like sales taxes? You mentioned Avalara, which I guess is an integration.
Yes. So the first question is penetration in the US. Look, the US for us is a relatively new market. There's no question or doubt about it. We're very strong here in the UK and Ireland, but we have implementations across the US and in Canada. It's a big growth market for us. We're very excited about it. And that's why we've been investing, I suppose, over the last couple of years on making the localization as strong as possible. So our partnership with Avalara is something that makes managing sales taxes really simple, right? And even from my history in the SAP world, Avalara was always a sort of a go-to solution to help manage those kind of complexities. But of course, we can manage sales taxes in the US, no problem, and report on those where necessary. So, I think we do tick the boxes. We certainly do for the customers that we have already. So I think they're always happy. But I think one of the bits that maybe to Eric's point that makes me look a little bit younger, is that we have these beautiful monthly updates, which mean that no matter what comes up, we're able to address it pretty quickly and release any changes that we might need to do. And there's always something that comes up in an ERP implementation. We all know that. And the beauty is that it just might mean we have to wait another few weeks to go live because we only found out about it in the last minute. But it becomes part of the core, and that bit of it then becomes available to everybody on the same day. So it's a lovely agile solution. And just to mention, in terms of our penetration in the market, like we've processed over 400 million transactions with 99.9% uptime, and that includes upgrades seamlessly. So this isn't a baby solution. It's a powerful application hosted on AWS and ISO 27000 certified and all of those great things. So security is key for us as well, and things like that. So is localization. So we've put a lot of effort into the localization. There's no question or doubt about it.
So this is great. So obviously, I'm going to have some of my questions as well, and I think Dan is happy with your answer. So and Morgan, from my shoes, I am an ERP consultant, as you know, and a lot of the folks in the room are also ERP consultant. And one thing that we struggle as the ERP buyer community, ERP consulting community, I guess, when we look at 2,000 different ERP vendors, okay, they all appear very similar. So what you have shown so far, it looks very similar, right?
Get out of it. No chance, Sam. I totally get where you're coming from. Like, we all do the same kind of things.
Yeah.
I think fundamentally the architecture here is different, right? And I'm open to debate on that one, but I think the architecture is very different. We are talking about a multi-tenant application. We are talking about something that is built to scale, built to be agile, built to be upgraded. It's user-friendly and it's simple to use, but it is also addressing that market of QuickBooks and Zero users who are used to something that has a nice UI, as you mentioned earlier, Sam.
Yeah.
And they kind of want something that isn't intimidating. So there are words like that we immediately said we have to be the anti-intimidating ERP, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So whenever we present this to customers, the first thing they say is, it looks really nice and it's really friendly.
Yeah.
Think about services, Sam, right? Yeah. And I know you're a consultant and you're probably not going to believe me, but we're deploying this in less than 15 man days.
Yeah.
Lapse time of about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
For a full-blown ERP with the warehouse management system, it is up and running and ready to go. It doesn't take long. So one of the things that I really, really wanted to achieve was something that was quick to deploy, gave a fast ROI, could have this sort of land and expand model.
Yeah.
We have many customers who replace what they have and then month on month go, ooh, I'd like to start with invoice scanning and matching. Great. Yeah. Next month, let's roll out the warehouse management system. Yeah. And we kind of go, well, it's already there. Yeah. Just log on to the WMS and start using it, right? Start receiving your products in and then they might even do that without bin locations, right? And then eventually they go, okay, let's get organized. Let's go to another level. Yeah. From a consultant perspective, it's a different model. Instead of this big upfront, 80, 100-day project to deploy a solution, you might go in and start with 15 days and maybe go back in for a day or two a month thereafter and help them get better as they evolve their business and as they have an appetite for more functionality and more process optimization, for example. But it's all here. Like it's been built with that. That's the fundamental difference, Sam. Genuinely, that is the fundamental difference. I get that accounting is accounting. It hasn't changed in 320 years or thereabouts, right? Yeah. But banking integration is something that we love, and having 10,000 banks built in is superb. Yeah. Having EDI built in is really superb. Yeah. Having PEPL built in takes all of the pain out of having to deal with digital invoicing. I know it's in North America, it's not relevant. Yeah. So really, I think the ease of use, the simplicity, one of the things that strikes me for a lot of people, I'm just going to show you a little something if I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Throughout the platform, we built out these little grids here.
Yeah.
And what it allows me to do as a user, instead of having to run typical maybe crystal reports and things like
Yeah.
that, is actually
Yeah.
get at the information I want really quickly. So
Yeah.
my sales order grid,
Yeah.
I can see all my transactions. I can
Yeah.
search across particular ones. So if I go for Sophia, it'll show
Yeah.
me the transactions related to Sophia
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah.
But I can come in here and add in columns, for example. So
Yeah.
if I wanted to look at the reference number, I just drag it across, and now
Okay.
I
I
have
love it.
it's right.
Yeah.
Now
That's
what I can
amazing.
start
Yeah.
to do is go filter report,
Yeah.
create, and give it a name. So Sophia's, I can't type this evening, I should say, Sophia's orders. And
Yeah.
if I save that for all, I now have a little report I can run at any time, and it will pick up the columns I wanted. It'll pick up
Yeah.
filters I've applied, and
Yeah.
I need to know how to write a SQL query to do it, Sam. And that's the thing that makes a difference, how easy it is to deploy the application and for people to use it. So, if I click on Greenfield Open Orders,
Yeah.
I change
Yeah.
the report and I get Greenfield's Open Orders, and I
Yeah.
can interrogate that if I want to. So that's just some of the differences, Sam, I guess, that help us to differentiate ourselves against others.
No, this is great. And I think this reinforces my original hypothesis when we were looking at you guys. And I said, your target market is going to be very similar to Odoo. And I think they are attacking the similar market as well. Even though they might not agree with me, they are going to say, hey, we have replaced SAP. I get it, man. But everybody has their own lane. And target market. So in your case as well, I think you are attacking very, very, very similar lane. And I think you mentioned that anybody who's outgrowing QuickBooks, they are probably going to be the right customers for you guys. And the way you have shown the UX as well, the way you are able to drag your fields, put it on reports, I think that's a very similar experience in Odoo as well. Big shout out to your UX person. Whoever is doing this, they are genius. Okay. I don't know who that person is. They are really genius. This is one of the best UX I have personally seen in the ERP community. So kudos to your team.
Thank you very much, Sam. Let me just show you a little something as well, right?
Yeah.
So we put up an order. The
Yeah.
next thing that happens is that we go to pick that product, right? So if I just, there's all sorts of things popping up in front of me here now. That's my challenge. I can't actually open a new tab. So let me just
That's
go.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, and the purpose of these sessions is doing the real live demo, and live demos are not easy. I mean, they are very difficult, so customers need to understand that as
I'm
well.
not even sure if my live demo is going to work, Sam. That's
That's
how live
completely
this
okay. That's
is.
real life, right?
Yeah.
If everything
But
looks fancy, I feel maybe I'm seeing a PowerPoint presentation, because now these days it's very easy to simulate those demos as well. It's probably not a real application. In the real world, you're going to have a lot of defects and errors.
What I try to tell everybody is that this thing is so simple, it works in a live demo. Hey, so that's it.
And this is amazing.
I just opened up the warehouse management system, right? So everybody goes, oh, I need a warehouse management system, and it's an add-on to your ERP, or it takes another 20 days to deploy. I just logged on to wms.enterprise.com, and in my company, I can see straight away I have 29 purchase orders to receive. I've got 25 unique items to put away in my bins. I have 35 transactions to pick. I can transfer my stock from one location to another, and I didn't need anybody to help me get this live. So if I just use a warehouse without bins, this is going to work straight away. But if I want to start using bins, I can put it away in different bins, and it's as simple as clicking on receive. Here's my purchase order from Parker Seals. I receive my product into stock. It's showing me what I need. So there's 10. I've got batch traceability turned on for this product, so I'm going to track it from the day it came in until the day it leaves. I enter my batch numbers, the expiry dates, the quantity received, and that batch traceability is booked into my warehouse. If it's a distributed product, it goes out again. But if it's a manufactured product, it becomes a raw material for my finished items. And we have that full traceability through the production process. There's my finished item. Here is my received item into stock. And it works. It just works without, if you've got a little bit of help, as I say, very little services. That was the ambition. It just works. And every single month it just gets better, because you're getting these new releases, right? These new bits that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Love it. So we have one question here, from Dan. Any generative AI co-pilots and or RPA? I guess, I mean, he's probably implying that there are a lot of buzzwords these days. And by the way, I mean, I'll tell you this, Morgan. Okay, if you look at any of the AI native ERP platforms as of today, okay, they all are going to claim that they have multi-entity. They have pretty much everything that you have. So in buyer's shoes, it becomes very confusing.
Yes.
Okay, what am I looking at?
Yes.
How do I
Yes.
even buy this?
Yes.
When we are looking at
Yes.
2000 different platforms, and again, I mean, in your case, obviously you have very good UX. There is no question there. It's commendable, the things that you are able to show. I don't think any ERP vendors would be able to show something like this, right? Except Odoo. Maybe Odoo has very
Yep.
similar UX as well, right? So we have one more comment here. UI UX is just a little better than SAP. So then, to your comment, I don't think SAP would agree with that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I like having been in the world of SAP, UX isn't their forte. I think their engineering is, right, and the ability to deal with large organizations at scale. That's really where they play really, really well. Look, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody likes
Yeah.
something a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
I love a Porsche, other people like a Ferrari. It depends on what you like.
Yeah.
We find this just simple and easy to use. That's really what it boils down to. Yeah. I think to the point around AI, with the
Yeah.
question that was asked a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
we are releasing our AI in Q3.
Yeah.
We've been looking around at what people have been doing with AI and trying desperately to ensure that we're solving a problem and not just putting AI in for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So, we already embedded AI in our bank reconciliations. We've embedded it in our invoice scanning and matching.
Yeah.
And other tools like that, which are very much in the background. Natural language is something that's coming next. So, but we're doing it on the basis that we want to make the interface simpler. We believe AI really is the next interface, the fourth generation
Yeah.
interface. So we're solving that problem. How do you make ERP accessible to everybody, no matter whether they've used it before or not? And natural language is a great way of being able to do that. We see natural language AI tools in mobile time, because the real estate really lends itself to that. So Q3 will see an awful lot of that going on. But we've seen a lot of people trying to launch AI tools in the world of ERP, where I just don't believe, especially in the SME space, that the data will live up to the queries that is being asked. And they're trying to do complex MRP reordering for just-in-time production planning, for example.
Yeah.
I just don't see how an SME's data is going to live up to that level of scrutiny. So we're being, the other piece that I have is that you have to have it so right, because the customer has to have confidence in what you've actually delivered is going to work for them every time. And the minute it doesn't, they will just stop using it.
Yeah.
So that's our strategy, for what it's worth. We've done lots of other things with integrations with Microsoft products and using AI tools and Copilot within the Microsoft products to interrogate and to build agents and things like that. But what we're really keen on doing is deploying our AI tools within the beautiful UI that we have, Sam.
Yeah, you definitely do. And we have one comment here, so I'm going to touch on that. So Dan, the recording that you are talking about is available on the same link. Our delivery is seamless. So you just need to register on that. And then you are going to get the on-demand recording of this session, which is going to be available for any future listeners. So Morgan, so let's go one level deeper, I guess, in this. And again, I mean, we are going to be meeting a lot. We would love to have your other team members as well present. If you do that, I mean, we would love to have you, right? But at the same time, I guess, one differentiator that I saw in your commentary is the whole e-invoicing piece that you have for Europe. And the way I like to look at this is we send a lot of RFPs, to different vendors. Okay. Initially, when we talk to them, they are like, okay, we can do pretty much anything. Okay, great. Okay. All right. We'll send you RFPs. Okay. The moment I send RFPs to these guys, they don't want to compete in those RFPs. So what happened then? So, right. So that's where we always look for, okay, can you talk about these specific capabilities where we can send you something, right? So let's say you are talking about the Europe capabilities, and I don't know how many vendors are really going to have that. They might all claim from the tick box perspective, but
Yes.
you probably have some real deal there. So I don't know if you are able to talk about or show, from the e-invoicing how the functionality looks. And let's say if I
So
were to implement that in SAP Business One, that's probably not going to happen.
it's going to be expensive. So we've done it in SAP because Belgium, for example, has gone live, right? So you have to do everything. So what Pepper was originally, just for those who might know, is an e-invoicing solution from a B2B perspective. So I have my ERP and you have yours, and we're using Pepper to send the data from one to the other. What in the first place I saw it being deployed as a tax agent is in Singapore.
Okay.
So they used the Peppel network and they called it Corner 5. So
Yeah.
Peppel was made up of 4 corners, the vendor and the customer and the tools in the middle. Corner 5 effectively is the tax agent. So every time you send an invoice, it has to go to the revenue as well. And they now know the liability. And we've seen a lot of this in South America as well, in Mexico and other markets. So the European Union, generally takes them a little bit longer to get around to these things, has deployed this. Belgium is the first country. The UK is adopting it as well. And over by 2029, there is a mandate for all companies to use Peppel to submit their tax returns. So SAP doesn't have it currently, and as a result, you have to deploy add-on solutions to do it. Thankfully, Enterprise integrates with SAP, so we're able to leverage Enterprise as the gateway for this Peppel invoicing tool. But the way we've engineered it is that, in essence, you just have to turn it on and put in your Peppel ID, which is like your zip code, right, as a company.
Yeah.
Then in your customer or vendor records, you just put in their Peppel ID.
Yeah.
And now it just sends the information from one to the other. In some instances, there might be a requirement to add in additional data fields because maybe you store something in a custom field that you need to map, but it's literally a 2-minute job just to add that into the file. And then the invoices just send and they receive. And what we do, Sam, is one of the challenges with e-invoicing is that item codes and things can be different. So you receive a product invoice from your supplier, you bring it in to your system, but how do you match up your codes? So we use the same tool that we use for our digital invoicing to do that with AI and machine learning to pick up and match those transactions going forward. So they're the kind of ways that we're able to box a bit clever and to deliver these solutions in a serviceless way. And then, of course, the platform costs themselves are significantly lower. The total return on our cost of ownership is really, really low. That's one of the real benefits of Enterprise. So the e-invoicing for us is a big one, but it also opens up Peppel if you need it to trade. And then, we've lots of other integrations we've built to standard. And the beauty of the architecture here is when we build it once, we've built it for everybody. So Shopify, literally within 5 minutes, you can connect your Shopify store. WooCommerce is the same. EDI integrations are all the same. So it's really, really easy to get you up and running without the need to have people coming in and scoping things and all that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah. So nice. So Shopify is a great angle. So let's touch on that a little bit more, if you are okay with that, right? So Shopify, and I don't know if you're listed on their marketplace. Obviously, there are many different ERP systems, right? I mean, they call ERP system, but I don't know how ERP they are, right? So if you look at some of the options in the Shopify ecosystem at this point of time. There are some in the AI native world as well. I don't know if you have come across in your deals, and I don't know if you're open to talking about which are the most common vendors that you come across that could, set some sort of angle from the comparison perspective, where you like to be compared with, where you don't want to be compared with, I guess.
Ooh, wow. What's happening a little bit, Sam, it's interesting. Navision, Microsoft Navision is now end of life, and Microsoft are moving to great Business Central, which
Yeah.
is a lovely tool. But in the same way, we have lots of customers on SAP Business One. I'm not singling any of them out. What happened was back in the noughties and maybe the 90s, there were only a number of ERPs that to choose from, and they were all fairly big products, and they've grown in time. And in some instances, these products are a bit too expensive for them now to migrate to. So what they're doing is they're looking at enterprise as an alternative. So we're in the room, or maybe in the room after Business Central's been in there, or NetSuite's been in there, or SAP, but it's not the right fit for the customer. You know, as I say, everybody. Some distributors need 40-foot trucks, and some of them need Sprinter vans, right? It's you got to find the right thing that fits for you.
Yeah.
And there's an ethos maybe with enterprise around simplicity and this lovely subscription model, and not having to manage your ERP, because we kind of take that all off, that people really, really buy into. Because that's where they've come from, right? They've come from an online QuickBooks or an online Xero. So the last thing they want to do is own their ERP. So that's a fundamental difference. But I think who do we compete with? Everybody, honestly. And we're brought into the weirdest rooms, right? So our biggest competitor is do nothing. You know, the customers who just end up doing nothing. But I'd say Excel is probably our biggest competitor, right? It's where most of our customers come from. But we have customers who are migrating from top tier ERPs like NetSuite, SAP Business One, Microsoft Navision, and they're moving maybe for commercial reasons, maybe their business has shifted, maybe they just don't have a requirement for that tier of ERP. And then, you know, so I always say between Sage and SAP, there's a massive gap, and that's kind of where we fit, right? Between those two, sort of between the world of accounting software and the world of sort of traditional ERP, as you might like to see it. And, you know, it's really, you know, are we competing with them? Not really. You know, we're kind of just in the same room as them, as you sort of pointed out earlier. And that to me is a good place to be, but I'd like to more rooms, that's all. So if you can find any more rooms to put me into, Sam, I'm all up for it.
That's the intent. I mean, that's the intent. You know, we need to know which room you are going to enjoy hanging out, I guess, right? Because sometimes, I mean, that's our state, to be completely honest. Okay, so when we have these conversations, every box ticks, I guess. And as soon as we start sending out, no, hey, buddy.
Well, look, I tell you where I don't think we fit very well. This is probably a good place. We don't fit very well in engineer to order manufacturing style companies. And I don't think we fit really well in retail, unless they already have a point of sale and they're looking for a back end solution to support that.
So let's touch on that a little bit. So since you are talking about Shopify, but you are saying that, you know, we don't fit in retail, in my mind, when I look at this, I mean, retail is a business model, right? And e-commerce is sort of segment of that. So you are thinking that you are more fit for the pure play e-commerce DTC centric verticals and not necessarily for retail?
So I'm talking more, I would suggest, sort of regular FMCG retail, that kind of space, right? But we have lots of distributors who sell online. You know, we have lovely small businesses that sell. They have a company in the States, a company in the UK, and a company in Australia with Shopify stores, and they're selling their product directly there. And manufacturing that product themselves. And they're also selling through different distributors, for example. So they've got an omni-channel experience, but they mightn't have a bricks and mortar store. That's the difference, I guess.
So that's the consistent messaging, I guess. I mean, when I told you that I was part of SAP ecosystem as well, and for some reason, I don't know, SAP has this much fear, I guess, the whole ecosystem. They were really afraid in competing in retail for whatever reason. And I can see why, because retail in general is a very, very unique industry. I always argue, and that's my personal position, and probably elevate IQ a little bit. Retail was never sort of the ERP industry. The maximum ERP that they are going to have is just some sort of GL layer. Everything else resided somewhere else. Supply chain suite, sometimes they'll manage their ERP state, inventory state inside POS. Sometimes they maintain inside data warehouse. We have seen
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of use cases, and I'm not talking about the smaller customers. I'm talking about very large. One of the largest Canadian retailer here. We have had these conversations, and they're like, "Okay, what is ERP? I mean, our ERP is POS layer, and then they have data warehouse as well, right?" And we have seen some failure cases as well. I don't know. Lululemon is probably one of the examples.
Mm-hmm.
They really struggled with their implementation. I mean, that's all over the internet if you really think about it, right? And I think they ended up doing separation of inventory. The ERP state did not work for them. They tried to do that. I don't know whether, I don't remember. I think that was probably Oracle, SAP, whoever was there. One of the enterprise vendors, they tried to do that. It didn't work. And this is very consistent. And you are saying that, I don't like retail. And SAP did not like retail as much either. The whole ecosystem, not SAP. Obviously, SAP has a product, they have a team, and they are going to say that, no. What are you talking about? We love retail.
Well, you see, the challenge, I guess, and we do have some retail customers, so I'm not going to completely say that I shy away from it. But the
Yeah,
challenge with retail as well is that it is hardware and software
yeah,
interdependent, right?
yeah,
So you have to kind of be able to do a little bit of both. You have to
yeah,
be able to meet the needs of a 24/7 environment as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And certain companies are geared up to that, and then
yeah,
others aren't. So I guess from our perspective, there's plenty of business for us in the distribution, the manufacturing, and the services market.
yeah,
We do want to enable our customers to have an omni-channel experience for
yeah,
their customers. But if you ask me to go and deploy a system in a chain of convenience stores,
yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't think I'm going to do them any favors, right?
Yeah,
That's
convenience store is a very, very, very different vertical, to be completely honest, because I mean they have their own sort of very niche ERP. We have done some engagements there as well. Yeah, and they don't work, man. I mean, their operations are so different. It's just very different beast. Even if that might come across as more of the retail business model, it's a very different beast. They have gas stations, the whole gas pricing is very different. I don't know if you come across those ones. So they have very niche players in that space, and and those are the ones that really work there.
and I think they're better off with a strong point of sale and a small ERP accounting backend kind of solution integrated in, and that works really well. So I guess from that perspective,
Yeah,
that's probably they're the two areas that I try and steer away from a little bit. Um, but it's not to say we don't do it.
yeah,
We have, and I just generally find their requirements to be very specific to their business needs, and therefore you kind of end up getting brought into the customization and bend the solution sort of areas where I just believe that if we're looking at the size of companies that we support and look
yeah,
after, they really just want to get something up and running that does the job for them that they need to do, whether that's batch management,
yeah,
manufacturing, warehousing,
yeah,
stock control, margin analysis, proper accounting, CRM, whatever those different aspects are, they just want
yeah.
everything in the one place. And, there are some businesses that I think just are outside of our reach from that perspective. I prefer to be honest about that.
Yeah, no, that's great. So let's go back to the Shopify, conversation a little bit more, right? Because a lot of people are passionate about that ecosystem. You have a lot of, merchants and retailers. They
Mm,
are doing business in that, right? So Shopify, and I don't know how the marketplace structure works. I don't know if marketplaces are going to be different, for different regions. That would be my assumption because from the commerce perspective, every region is very different. It has very different culture. It has very different taxation. So generally, if you are going, let's say, expanding from your US to UK to Ireland, then you have to work with those, companies who are going to know how to expand on Amazon, how to expand on eBay. That's how those business models work. So here, let's say if you talk about North America, which is where we do most of our business, I guess. So that's where we are going to be worst. So if you look at some of the ERP systems, and again, some people might argue that those are probably not ERP systems, okay? So we are talking about Katanas of the world. We are talking about Fulfills of the world. Fulfill is the new one. I don't know if you have come across them, if you have heard about them.
mhm.
Which is the new one I'm missing? One more. that we are reviewing in 2 days, I guess. Um, which is DOS or reviewed already. And I get confused because we are doing so many different reviews from our perspective as well. So DOS is another one. And these are AI native. And what they have done, Morgan, and I don't know which bus you are on, I would love to hear from your perspective, because sometimes, we are hearing in the community that AI native community is going to take over pretty much everything. And I think you mentioned that as well, that you believe in that. But there are many flavors of that AI native journey or bus as well. So these guys are trying to argue that, hey, just remove all of your relational constraints from the database and you are probably going to be okay. Because now I have removed that because AI likes that. So is that a new ERP? If that is a new ERP, do you really need some sort of CPM tool, FP&A tool, BI tool? Because you can do everything inside ERP. So tell me a little bit more about that argument where you sort of, from the Shopify perspective, I had that comment, and then a little bit more from the AI native perspective as well.
So the Shopify piece for us is not, we're not sort of building a tool that you manage your Shopify store or your omni-channel commerce environment from. Shopify for us really is as an add-on to somebody who's already got a distribution network or other routes to market that they need to manage. And everybody is talking about AI a lot, and I am on the AI bandwagon. But there was a great cartoon I saw recently in the newspaper where the guy, the product manager's going, "We need AI, we need AI, we need AI," and the developer's going, "Well, why does the customer just ask for another button?"
Exactly.
Not balance the two things. So for me, when you're looking at ERP, it's not just about taking in orders, fulfilling orders, managing returns, and bringing them back in. It's about the inventory management in the warehouse and your bins. It's about the omni-channel experience. And I'm not talking about Amazon and eBay and Shopify. I'm talking about distribution networks, multi-currency scenarios, taxation, accounting, MRP replenishments, production if required. That's what ERP is, right? If you want to look at it. And ERP is the core, and these things are really on the edge. But there are plenty of organizations where their online presence is the core, and they need something to unify them. I'm all about those tools. They're fantastic. But they will stop at a point that when those organizations grow, where they need dynamic accounting, or they need MRP, or they need warehouse management themselves because they don't want to fulfill it through Amazon because the margins are too punitive. That's when they're going to need an ERP. And we literally just took 2 companies last quarter on that same journey where they had bits and pieces of applications trying to make everything work. And then they just said, like, all we're doing are hiring people to fill those gaps, right? Because the data doesn't flow naturally. So for me, ERP is the single source of truth, and it is the thing that manages your entire organization, no matter what route to market you're going in and how you're buying your product in. So those products absolutely have a place, but I think that they're for people who are e-commerce centric, that maybe are getting their product fulfilled by Amazon because they don't even have to warehouse it. And that's a great market. But I think that there are a lot of traditional distributors and manufacturers that need to control their supply chain because they own the supply chain, and they need an ERP to do that.
Okay, very interesting. So we have roughly 6 minutes right now in the episode. I don't know if you want to touch on anything that you wanted to touch, but we could not touch. But from my perspective, I'm going to ask one question. And, I want you to go a little deeper into that story. So I'm looking for a customer example, whichever you are really, really proud of. Okay. And the scenario that I'm going to give you is, okay, you are talking about your own unique differentiator that you believe that nobody else in the market can compete. Okay. And let's say if we were more of the selection agency and we are sending out an RFP, we'll be forced to send only to you and not to anybody else.
Because you. Great question. What a question, Sam. How are we so totally different? Well, look, there's a few things. First of all, let me tell you about a couple of little examples. We did a company that was in the water distribution business, right? Sparkling.
Okay. Nice. I like it. Yeah.
They had 6 customers that needed EDI integration, and they were using a 3PL network. We had them live in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
All done, all the EDI, everything else built. They were up and running and trading on Monday after the 5 weeks.
Yeah.
The total SaaS cost on that implementation was €17,000 a year, and it took no more than 10 days to deploy the solution. So
Yeah.
that's the fundamental differentiator, 5 weeks ROI. Then we have another customer who literally had to go live in a week because they were being pulled off their old ERP.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
went live in 4 countries with
Yeah.
intercompany transactions within 5 working days. So speed of deployment is something that we really, really like. The serviceless approach, the
Yeah.
simplicity of how we get the system out there is the bit that we really like. So when you find somebody who's pragmatic, who doesn't
Yeah.
want to own their ERP,
Yeah.
doesn't want to be responsible for their ERP,
Yeah.
but just wants a tool that's going to actually tell them how much money they're
Yeah.
making, what the value of their stock is, and all the other great things like stock aging and
Yeah.
batch traceability. Of course, there are other people who do those things, but can they do
Yeah.
them as quick as us? Can they
Yeah.
do them for the price point that we charge? I don't think so. Not over the long term, and that's the bit that we're trying to shift. So I don't know if that gets me the RFP, Sam. Certainly hope you'll add us to the list.
I'm
And
going to have a couple of follow-ups there. Yeah, whenever
okay.
you're done. I mean, please go on. Please go on.
No. I think I'm done.
Yeah, so from the pricing perspective, maybe you can talk about that. So that'll help, people understand where you sort of stand in terms of pricing. I mean, that's a great differentiator. Pricing is not bad,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah,
second, yeah. So
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that the opportunity there is to lower the barrier
Yeah.
to ERP entry for customers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where instead of it being $100,000 or $150,000, you're coming in here at a quarter of that kind of price point, and you're
Okay.
not really sacrificing anything.
Yeah.
Because you've got a warehouse management system,
Yeah.
you've got production and batch traceability, you've got all of these beautiful integrations.
Yeah.
It's just the way we architected it in a way that you just flick a switch and away it works, right? Because having done this for 25 years, I was not
Yeah.
going to start building a new ERP that took 100 days to put in or 50 days to put in. That just was not my ambition. I'm not suggesting that time isn't there, but
Yeah.
you're doing it over a period of time, delivering value on an ongoing basis, right? So it's
Yeah.
a journey, not necessarily an initial destination. I guess is the difference between waterfall and agile approach to projects.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I've lost my train of thought now, Sam, but I think ultimately price is important. The price point includes, just to give you an idea, all your
Yeah.
support, and there's
Yeah.
chat-based in-app support. So there's somebody 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, ready
Yeah.
to help you
Yeah.
answer queries, not a bot and not AI, just a
Yeah.
person who knows the solution well. It includes all your upgrades, all your
Yeah.
backups, all your hosting. There is no other cost other than the SaaS price you get, which in every other product that's out there in the market seems normal, but in the
Yeah.
world of ERP, it never is, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you come along 2 years later, you got to do an upgrade. Oh, not with us, you don't. There's no cost. It just arrives every month and there's new features. There's no, I don't know, backup charges. There's no
Yeah.
rebuild charges. There's no development charges.
Yeah.
None of that exists. It is simplicity, pure and simple. That's really what it boils down to, Sam. So when you get pragmatic CEOs who go, that's what I'm looking for, that's when you send me the RFP.
You are definitely going to get the RFP. So now we have 2 minutes. I don't know if you are going to have any sort of closing advice, if you have any resources that you would like to share with the community that they can go back and maybe read about or research. If you want to share any of that, then this would be your chance.
So please, we have a wonderful marketing team here who just put together a stunning new website. Yeah. Go take a little look at enterprise.com. The resources section, there are some superb demos that help us showcase things like how we manage intercompany transactions, how we manage the warehouse management, things like bin locations. All of those complex, or what were complex sort of processes, are all explained really, really simply. Have a little look there, and please feel free to reach out. We love talking about what we do, and yeah, you know where we are.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And again, I'll be first to admit that this is probably the most beautiful platform and the UX that we have seen. So kudos to your team again.
Thank you very much.
It's really pretty. It's very well done. So guys, if you're looking for ERP, if you're in the market, you should definitely check these guys. They might be newer to North American market, but I think they have a very exciting product and an amazing team. I would say this is all coming from the team. So thank you so much once again for doing this, Morgan. And for my audience, if you joined for the first time, we are bringing all of these episodes. In this case, this is really the vendor's voice. Our goal is to present the voices from the vendor community, whatever exciting solutions that they might be working on. Then we have two different flavors. We have our own voice as well, which is going to be our own review. Sometimes we might not agree with everything, from the vendor perspective, but then you are getting both the perspectives. You should be looking at both of them and then make your own decision. So that's going to be the review series that we have. And then we also have the process series, in which we cover many different concepts and how to be successful with different ERP enterprise software initiatives. And the best way or the best place to find them would be on our events and webinar page on elevateiq.com, or you can subscribe to our newsletter. On that note, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you so much once again, Morgan.
Thank you, Sam. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.